Hello friends, welcome to AmbeKidsArt. Today we will be drawing the supervillain from Avengers, Thanos. Let's begin. I like to draw some guidelines before I use my Sharpie to mark all the body parts. So I'm using a red pencil. You can use any other color pencil. These are erasable pencils, so it's much easier. So I start with a curved line for the top of his head. His face looks like a bucket in some ways. So I have two straight lines on both sides, but they are getting wider as we go down. And he has these weird beard, like folds in his skin where the beard should be. It's kind of like very interesting. So that's what we are going to be drawing. I like to mark where his ears go. I used a very simple shape. The shape of the ear looks like a question mark. So I just mark those. And between the two ears, I'm marking a line for his eye. His eyes and nose are really close, so I mark the bottom of his nose and also where the starting of his lips are. I'm gonna give him a neck, a shoulder. And on this side, I think he has some type of collar, so I'm just gonna mark that. The guideline really helps me place where the head and the body are going to be on the paper. If I start with a Sharpie and I make a mistake, I really can't go back and fix it. So I highly recommend that you use guidelines also. You can use a regular pencil if you want, or a color pencil. Okay, I think it looks good. So let's start using a Sharpie to trace. So if you remember in the guideline, I have not put all the details. So I will be adding the details at this point. So I want to be carefully trace over the red lines that I made. So the areas I'm drawing do not have any other details, so I can just trace over my guidelines. But as I come down, I have to remember those bumpy beard-like folded skin. So you can think of it as little boats, tiny little boats. That's what I'm drawing right now. Yeah, he looks like Santa Claus. Okay, so let's start marking his eyebrows. He has a very frowny eyebrow. So I'm just drawing the eyebrow, and once I'm happy with the eyebrow, I'll be giving him a little frown. That's how we do the frown. We just use like a greater than or a less than sign, and that gives him the frowny brows. Okay, let's darken the brow a little bit so he looks even more evil. Okay, he has very tiny eyes. So I'm going to use the same shape as the brow, just a little more, little smaller. So I'm just drawing very similar to the shapes I drew for the eyebrows. Just a little lower. Let's make the base of his eye look like a little V shape. Okay, he looks really evil. Okay, he has this jutting brow line, I think. So I'm just gonna mark that. Okay, let's give him a really small nose. The tip of the nose, it looks like a ball, so I just want to define that. And then the first nostril I marked. And then let's mark the second nostril. So let's darken the nostrils. So the area between his nose and mouth, there is a lot of gap. So You don't want to put the mouth right by his nose. Let's start drawing the mouth. He's not a very happy guy. He's more frowny. So let's keep it that way. So keep it like, he's frowning. If your curves are bending down, they look like it's a frown. He just has a single line for the bottom lip. Oh, look at him. He is very frowny. Let's draw some lines from those little curves up to his lips. See, if you see what I did just now, I just changed the angle of the line where the lips are. So it looks like the lines are going into his lip. And it makes his lip look, it's more three-dimensional. Okay, more lines. Oh, now let's draw his frown lines. So starting at the top of his nose, all the way to his mouth on both sides. That's what we want to do. That makes him look like he's really frowning. Let's add a couple of extra lines because there is a lot of room in his face that seemed to be very blank. So let's just add some random wrinkles on his face. His head really looks like a bucket now, so I just want to soften those edges a little bit. So I'm just drawing over it, making it a little bit more rounder. Okay, and then he has that little area above his lip. Let's give him more lines on his forehead. Wrinkles. Yeah, he has a very large neck, so I'm just marking down his neck and also his shoulder. Like I said before, he's wearing some kind of armor, so I'm just marking that shoulder pad of some sort on his armor. Let's draw the neckline of his armor. So there is a little gap between in the middle, probably where he buttons up or something. So I just left that little gap. So on the other side, he has a collar. So that's what I'm drawing now. So remember to make the lines nice and curved, so it feels like it's wrapping around his neck. We are drawing on a paper, but trying to make things look three-dimensional. So the direction of your line is going to define how the neck shape is inside. Okay, so now is a good time to remove any guidelines. I wanted to make him really scary looking, so I'm adding a little orange for the inside of his eye, for his entire eye actually. And then let's line with a little bit of dark maroon, or maybe this is magenta. Yeah, I think magenta. Yeah, so that it looks like it's glowing. The eye looks like it's glowing. Yeah, a touch of black would darken that inner corners. So for his face, I'm going to be using a couple shades of purple and a dark blue. So I just want to take a pass, and I just want to remove all the guidelines because I'm using blue and purple. So I just want to get rid of those red lines. Oh, and before we proceed, let's just mark the shadow under his nose. Okay. So he has light coming from the right side. So I just want to like mark the shadow that's in the middle of his forehead. I'm using a dark blue to do that. When you're shading with a color pencil, how much pressure you apply decides, how smooth your end result is going to be. So do not apply too much pressure at the beginning. So you can apply multiple coats to get the color that you want without applying too much pressure. Because once you apply pressure, those lines are not going to be going anywhere. And you may not like that effect in the end. Okay, see how the shadow is coming? So he has very deep set eyes, so I added some shadow underneath his eyes. Yeah, definitely on top of the nose because he has no light coming in the front. So I'm just like marking that all. Any area that has the frowny, around the frowny lines, they are going to be dark because that's where there is most shadows. So I just want to add more blue to that area. Also the bottom of his chin, like all those folds, are going to be much darker. So all those areas will also get like a coating of dark blue. Yeah, let's color the inside of his ears nice and dark. Oh, there are some shadows on the side of his neck. So I'm going to directly use black for that because they are like really dark. So let's just make it dark. Okay, let's go over his head again and define those shadows. See how I'm adding layer after layer of a color pencil? So just keeping the pencil nice and loose and adding multiple layers of colors helps to keep the work nice and clean. Oh, now I want to make sure that I'm also like thinking about the bright area. So I'm going with the blue. But the blue I picked up was too light. So I'm not too happy about it. Let's try this one. It's still not what I really want. But at least it's a little lighter, so that's a good thing. I always use multiple shades of a color. So even though I wasn't too happy with this blue, I'm still applying it. I'm going to get one of those brighter blues and apply to create a little more dramatic effect. Okay, let's go back to our shadows. The top of his lip is completely in shadows. So let's just apply the blue. Add a little black on top. This is a blue I really like, especially for the effect I'm going for. There is light coming from the right side, so I just want to like make that nice and bright, a bright blue. So I really like this blue. Okay, let's give a coating of a light purple for his face, the rest of his face, because Thanos is mostly purple. time to add some shadows now. The neck is completely in shadows, so I'm going to be using blue, dark purple and black to create that effect. So let's start adding some color to his armor. The shoulder part of it is more teal, so I'm gonna mix blue and green for that area. So the rest of the armor is all like gold, so I'll be mixing a little bit of yellow and orange. I'm not really focusing on his clothing, so it's just gonna be very loose and unfinished. Let's give him some eyeballs. I want to like darken the rest of his eye and then define the pupil to make him even more creepier. I'm going to keep adding colors, the same colors I used, just to darken the shadows and then add some color, the blues here and there, till I feel very happy with the final look. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's really simple. You only need a few colors, so I hope you really give it a try. If you really like this video, please hit the like button, share with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe. Have a great day.